today we have something, my interest has been piqued, and we're going to check out the FA Cup's greatest ever mismatch. Let's just see what this does, and let's see if you guys agree if this is in fact the FA Cup's greatest ever mismatch. I'm very intrigued. I'm going to be really paying attention to the comments in the comment section, so please be a part of the community, not just the channel. Leave your comments, I read them all. And if you like videos like this, you guys know what to do. Much love. Let's just dive into it.
In January, Tottenham Hotspur will travel to Crosby on the northwest coast of England to face Marine FC in the third round of the FA Cup. It's now 149 years since the competition was founded, making it the oldest club cup in the world, and this tie, which pits Premier League Spurs against Marine of the Northern Premier League Northwest Division, is the greatest mismatch in its history. Jose Mourinho's side are from English football's summit. They play in a £1 billion stadium and boast a team full of internationals. Marine, who are managed by Neil Young, come from the 8th rung, where clubs depend on volunteers and part-time players have to train around their day jobs. And the profile of the two managers reflects that disparity. Mourinho, of course, has won the Champions League twice, as well as domestic league titles in Spain, Italy, England and Portugal. Young, an ex-professional player who was forced into early retirement by injury suffered in his mid-20s, coached Altrincham, Chester, Colwyn Bay, Stockport and Halifax prior to taking over at Rossett Park in 2018.
Okay.
Now, the journeys taken to reach this stage of the FA Cup also describe teams from different worlds. As a Premier League side, Tottenham have the privilege of a bye into the third round. Marine, however, had to win 7 games to get this far, slogging through 4 qualifying rounds just to reach the main draw and the first round proper.
Wow.
After beating Barnoldswick Town all the way back on September the 12th, they came through games against Frickley Athletic, Runcorn Linnets, Nantwich Town, Chester and Colchester United, before a 120th minute winner defeated Havant and Waterlooville after extra time.
Okay.
The game's only goal was scored by Niall Cummins, a P.
Okay. What? I laugh because I just don't. What are these teams? I've never heard of these teams before in my life. Okay, I mean, I've barely heard of Premier League teams. I mean, and I know of some Champions League teams as well, just in passing through Embrace the Suck, through the comments. Like I can piece together some team names that I might be familiar with, may or may not be familiar with, but those teams, hell no, I've never heard of them. So. What, first and foremost, when was this made? Let me stand by, guys. This is 2 years ago. All right, cool. All right, so I don't know who these teams are. So that means a lesser than elite squad, and I don't mean that like in a insulting way, but like as far as league standings are, someone that's not there is competing against a Premier League team. So, all right, I'm in it. I think I got the pieces of the puzzle. I think so. Let me know if I don't, if I'm way off. All right, here we go.
PE teacher after refuse collector James Barragan's cross had been knocked back into the 6-yard box. Now picture it wasn't. Cummins missed his attempt at a dividing header, steering the ball in accidentally and off his back, but it was enough to put his club in very rare air. And Marine have actually reached the third round once before, when they faced Crewe Alexandra in 1992.
Okay.
But this is only the second time in history that a club from the 8th level of English football, entering at the beginning of the qualifying rounds, has made it this far. Southall were the first, breaking that new ground in the 1935-36 season. Now for Marine, the reward for matching their feat is Tottenham, and a game which will be broadcast on the BBC and provide an invaluable source of income at a critical moment.
Wow.
Christmas has very much come early for us, Marine chairman Paul Leary told the Liverpool Echo shortly after the draw was made. To say that this cup run has been a godsend for us would be an understatement. It's been a massive shot in the arm for this
Good.
football club.
Wow.
Since the onset of the pandemic, we had to close down our club function rooms and weren't able to allow fans into the ground for a long time. And it's not hyperbole. Crosby is in Merseyside, one of the areas recently reclassified as Tier 3 under the UK government's lockdown regulations, meaning that, again, despite selling 500 tickets for the Spurs game, the match will have to take place behind closed doors. And the restrictions leave non-league football on a knife edge. Without the protection of the vast broadcasting contracts which exist at the top of the pyramid, clubs like Marine, who are dependent on matchday income and the renting of the facilities for social functions, remain extremely vulnerable. The £75,000 reward for being broadcast live on television will go some way to securing their future.
That's awesome.
In an interview with The Telegraph, Chairman Leary also hoped that it would save jobs, with 9 of Marine's staff having been furloughed in 2020. More optimistically, there's also the hope of installing a new pitch at the season's end. Now, unfortunately, no Tottenham fans will be allowed to travel to the game. It's a great shame because Rossett Park, with its perimeter lined by terraced houses, private gardens and idiosyncrasies, is the quintessential image of British non-league football, and the chance to visit seems unlikely to come around again soon. But the unusual times have brought out football's benevolent side. It was announced in early December that in lieu of the situation, Tottenham season ticket holders would be given a free ticket to a Marine home game of their choice during the 2021-22 season. In response, Spurs fans have been active. A supporter-run website in the United States raised almost $13,000 for Marine via a GoFundMe page.
Cool.
And in a separate campaign, Tottenham fans who would otherwise have made the trip to the northwest were invited to donate what they might have paid for their tickets. So far, that's raised almost another £2,000 that will be donated to the club. It's the FA Cup at its very best. It's football at its most intriguing, certainly, but also the competition's egalitarian reputation come to life. The biggest day in Marine's 126-year history might also be its most important. Tifo is delighted to be able to offer full access to the athletic.
It may be the greatest mismatch in FA Cup history. Marine are the second team ever from football's 8th tier to reach the 3rd round. The Crosby Club, largely run by volunteers with part-time footballers, take on Premier League side and now Carabao Cup finalists Tottenham Hotspur. Jose Mourinho says the best way to show respect to Marine is to pick a strong team and beat them.
Yep. You know, so before we dive into these highlights, all right, real quick. First and foremost, let's see if this gets through. But I had to bring you the highlights of that match that we talked about in the previous little clip. But that's very true. He brings up a good point. You don't want to make an easy game. You want to bring it 100%, because if these guys are firing at 100%, it's like a it's disrespectful, to like, okay, this is going to be an easy game. Let's give it our B squad. It's like a slap in the face. These guys have worked their butts off. They deserve a shot at the highest tier, highest level to try to beat them fair and square. So I like that. I like that coach's call. I think that's the right call. I would have done the same thing. And I would have, it's their job to beat the best at that point. All right. It's not a charity game. So anyway, let's just dive back into it. All right. Let's see.
Jose Mourinho all smiles ahead of kickoff as he met many of the staff at Marine. He is an FA Cup winner, securing the trophy with Chelsea in 2007. Striker, captain and school teacher Niall Cummings scored a winning goal with his back to see Marine beat Haventon Waterlooville in round 2. Josh Umami, set-piece specialist, has scored a few free kicks in this 7-game winning run to this stage, while James Barragan, bin man by day, is a key central midfielder by night. Spurs rotate but go strong. 9 changes from Brentford. Vinicius, Rodon, Hart, Jetson Fernandez and Dele amongst those in. Harvey White makes his first start for Spurs. Bale's on the bench, along with 16-year-old Alfie Devine in the matchday squad for the first time. Marine manager Neil Young had to take the week off work from Merseyrail Electric.
I love that.
To deal with all the media obligations
awesome.
Ahead of this game. A special moment for those who've been involved in the football club.
That's awesome. I love this shit. Like, just be honest. Like, okay, you may not be a fan of either team, but still, like, mad respect. It's like someone's... A lot of these... What they were saying, like, a lot of these people have day jobs, your regular 9-to-5 jobs, and they just so happen to play football. Well, it just so happens they played football better than most and got them here at this extraordinary position. You're playing against teams that they see on TV, and that is super cool. That's super cool. I like that. I like that these pro athletes, pro footballers are playing against teachers and the coach that had to take a week off his job because they did well. That's just a great story, guys. That's a great story. I love that this exists in sports. All right, I love that. All right, let's get back into it.
For a long time, Chairman Paul Leary in the stands tonight. Sissoko, hooked up by the French international. Kenji, bit of space here. Decides to have a pot shot. Oh my word. And Joe Hart palms it over. Neil Kenji with an extraordinary piece of individual play. Nearly writes himself into FA Cup history. That is an incredible strike.
Wow.
And Hart still had to deal with the follow-up. Smacks against the bar, and they were nearly in, Marine.
Oh my God.
Delhi shifts away from his man. Nice little 1-2 with Jedson. Delhi into the danger area, and Carlos Vinicius smashes it into the net. And Spurs have the opening goal of the game. It is Carlos Vinicius in his first ever FA Cup match.
It just looks wild. It just looks like the Spurs bus broke down in a neighborhood, and it's just perfect. This whole scenario of this match is glorious. Like, win or lose, right? Win or lose, and just from the title, okay, Marine lost. They lost. Okay. Well, what else would you expect? But the fact that they played the Spurs is just awesome. A feather in the cap to all of these guys. You know, like, what was it? Someone had said, like, the next day, these guys are in the pub. Hey, by the way, I was on the same pitch as the Spurs. Yeah, my team lost, but to the Spurs. Tell me what you guys did. How was your weekend? I love that. That is glorious.
With a lot of the hard work out here initially. And then with that tiny 1-2 with Jedson. Plays it perfectly into Carlos Vinicius, who actually didn't connect properly with it first time. But made sure, as it rather fortuitously stayed in his possession. Marine 0, Spurs 1. Jedson Fernandez, though with Champions League experience, shifts it into Delhi. It's Delhi once again. Oh, good ball, Matt Doherty, palmed out, and Vinicius is there again for his second of the evening. It's another close-range finish for the Brazilian, and it's Marine 0, Spurs 2. Well, it was an even more simple finish this time for Spurs number 45. Once again, it's the craft of Delhi that finds a way through Marine. Does really well here with a floated ball. It's absolutely spot on onto Matt Doherty, who nearly scored his first goal for the club. But it was another summer signing,
man,
who would get it into the net.
You can Now, me being someone that doesn't really understand football just yet. I mean, we've dove down World Cup football. Okay, uh, we've glanced over of the histories of certain clubs, right, in the Premier League, and but we've never seen, like, let's say, footage. Now, to me, just judging, uh, I would say the Spurs are the superior team, just from looking at it, like, they're just full attack, very well coordinated. Now I'm not making an assumption over Marine, but I'm just saying, is it that evident that all the Spurs, all they do 100% of the time is play football, whereas it might be more noticeable that our guys in yellow, Marine, right? Marine, this is their not their day job. Does that make sense? It's a completely different level against a different level. So that's something that's super cool to me. I'm going to keep harping on that because that it's still blowing my mind. It's like, for us, like a recreational league in basketball, going on a great run and playing, let's say, the Chicago Bulls or something like that. Like, somehow, some way they'll meet. Anyway, let's go.
Lucas Moura does well again, loses Kenji and is fouled. Lucas Moura belts it. It's a wonderful goal from Lucas Moura. And it is the two Brazilians in attack. It's a really clean hit from Lucas Moura. Passon tried to get across to it, but was a couple of inches away from the ball. Lucas has seen the run. Delhi will retrieve it. White back into Delhi. Vinicius fighting for it. It's a super goal for his hat-trick. Carlos Vinicius gets his first hat-trick for Tottenham Hotspur. Once again, Delhi involved, but Carlos Vinicius had to fight to get the ball back before placing it high past the goalkeeper.
That's awesome.
It's a great finish. It'll be good for his confidence to be free scoring here. Jetson Fernandez, nice interchange, shifted out to Delhi.
Wow.
Lucas Moura will fight to get it now.
Come on, man.
Divine.
They're just...
Divine! Brilliant goal! And what a special moment for the youngest ever first-team player for Tottenham Hotspur.
Nice.
It's the 16-year-old Alfie Devine. Well, welcome to first-team football, Alfie Devine on as a half-time substitute.
Right,
the former Wigan youth player, and he did so well to shift this out of his feet and smack it inside the near post. Another teenager making a name for themselves in the FA Cup this weekend.
That was a very pretty goal.
Bale, super work, playing it to Devine. Clark's made a fine run into the penalty area. Vinicius! Oh, he's missed it. Jack Clark was screaming for it. And Carlos Vinicius, once again, looking to add to his tally. The 3 goals, super work from Bale.
Oh, man.
Thought Vinicius was going to finish that. Barragan.
Do they have
cut out by Matt Doherty?
Attacks?
A very memorable FA Cup tie comes to an end. Credit to Marine for this remarkable run.
That's awesome.
But their FA Cup adventure comes to an end.
That's
at the hands of a team more than 160 places above them in the football pyramid. Vinicius' hat-trick, one for Lucas Moura, and a memorable strike for 16-year-old Alfie Devine, now the club's youngest ever goal scorer. Means it finishes Marine 0, Spurs 5.
Now, that is just great. It's just such a feel-good kind of thing. I think so. I mean, no one likes to lose. Granted, no one likes to lose. But if you're going to lose, lose to like a Premier League team that you have no business even playing. It's just glorious. That, to me, that's just great. That a team that are basically at the pub watching the team they're playing play on TV. That's great. The fact that can exist in this world, in this reality, is amazing. Please let me know if other times this has happened. Please let me know other televised moments, these big, massive games, maybe massive upsets that have happened like this, where literally a David against Goliath kind of thing. What is it? What did someone say? The FA Cup, the giant killer. Let's see. Let me know what other things I can research. This is a 2-video compilation. I had to do some research on what happened. It's 2 years ago, so I was like, let's see if this can go through. So we'll see. If you're seeing this, thank you guys. And as always, guys, thank you for watching to the end. Much love, guys. Make sure you unplug and do something legendary, and I will see you in the next video. Later, guys.